Do you have crow as a pet? I used to, and that's the reason why I started the whole crow persona in the first place. Um, what was I talking about? Right, so when I was in Australia, I was living alone. It was really sad. All that shit, you know, it was locked down. And I started making, like, I started planting and I started baking at home. And it was around the time where I started to get my life together and, you know, just sort of living in this very natural oriented way. And then one day I made a lot of bread for myself and I made too much. And so I was looking around, I was like, okay, there's no fucking way for me to give this to anybody right now. You can't really meet anybody. So then I looked outside, I was like, wait a second, Australia has a lot of crows. There's a lot of birds. I can literally just put it out of my window and maybe some bird will come pick it up. So I put it out and literally like 5 minutes later, I don't know, 2 minutes later, there's a big ass, like beautiful, fully black, shiny crow who took my big ass bread and flew to the roof opposite of my roof and it just ate there. And I was like, yo, what? So then after that day, I fed them every time. And it's not just him, so I called him Kurochan, but it goes with all the crows. It's not just that crow, it was a bunch of other crows, obviously, because they start to, you know, communicate with each other. It's like, oh, there's food here, dude, just come here. So there's a lot of crows. And then magpies started coming as well. And then Indian birds kept coming. And so I have these three main types of birds that would come to my window every single day. They would just like literally wander around every day, but I feed them twice. So I feed them in the morning when I wake up and in the afternoon when I have my tea time and book time. So it's beautiful because every morning they wake me up. So the magpies, the crows, they gather outside, they sit on the trees, and they're so fucking loud that I have to wake up. They're like, oh my god, give me our bread, give me fruit, give me nuts. And I actually buy fruits and nuts with my groceries so that I can feed them. It's beautiful, but they're very loud. They're insanely loud, but they're so beautiful, so I love them. So usually the crows and the magpies are very loud in the morning. Crows are not really loud in general. They're only loud when they gather together, which they do a lot, but usually the magpies wake me up. The crows usually, you know, call all over the day, especially when they gather. And the Indian birds, specifically, they really sing a lot during the afternoon. So every time I would be like doing my assignment in my study room, and I would look outside the window, and there's like this tiny little Indian bird on my window and just singing his lungs off, and he's so loud. He's tiny. He's literally like a tiny, like smaller than a fist, kind of like my fist. But he's so loud and he's adorable. So yeah, and I also remember like they have favorite nuts as well. So I experimented with different types of nuts, different types of treats, which one do they like better. Yeah, and then they were so brave because it was like a process of getting used to each other. This is getting really deep. I hope you enjoy it, but thank you. You have the cutest fangs. Thank you. Yes, Krowko lore. Bread in your nod. So what was I talking about? What the fuck was I talking? Right. So, right. It's a process of getting used to each other.